It was interesting, one place, somebody asked me after giving all this lecture about, you know, the wealth of India, all these things, and then they said, somebody put up their hand and they said, I went to India, then if India has all this good advice, everything, why is it such a dirty, disorganized place? So I had to think a little moment and then reply to that.
Well, actually, to my opinion, if you look at the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur described, at the time of Mahaprabhu, people lost their spiritual interest in general, and it looks like the Kali Yuga really has a much stronger impact in India than anywhere in the world, because time is traveling, you know, kind of like not... Time is very interesting. There are some, you know, places in the world that are very tribal. Some places in the world are super modern, so time is not achieving world at the same time, and we can see Kali Yuga is quite present in India, and overpopulation, all the symptoms of Kali Yuga you can find in India. But I think it's also wake-up call to India. I think due to social and government system, India, you know, will go for big changes soon.
Well, in our time, we've seen India open up. It was a very closed country before. You couldn't take anything into India that was made abroad. Even razor blades, the flat, plain, super cheap razor blades, you could not take in the first time I went to India. Anything, and even a packet of them. It was a very closed country. And then it's opened up very quickly. It's got all this plastic very quickly. It's got things which it hasn't had to deal with before. And it's now got to adjust to how to, you know, harmonize all these things and learn the recycling process and things which the West already has faced. And you don't find all these, you know, non-recyclable things just thrown around. They're taken care of. But yes, we see right in front of our face in India everything to do with life. Whereas here, lots of things are hidden away. The sick people, the disabled people, mentally handicapped people tend to be hidden behind the doors. So what we're seeing outside is the glossy side, the good side of the material world. But like Srila Gurudev said about watching the National Geographic, somebody gave him a DVD of National Geographic, some of the videos that they made. All beautiful photography, beautiful places, beautiful animals. But Gurudev watched one or two and he said, all is looking very beautiful. But ultimately, it is all about one animal eating another animal. It's about making their families. It's about struggle for survival and getting food. He said, ultimately, this is what is this material world. But in India, we see these things going on very openly in front of us.
Right, but it's also theistic country. It's the only country which recognize sadhus and naked yogis and have so much, you know, presence of religious life and daily life of people. I don't think any country has that you know, spiritual surge and strength and understanding. It's still giving to the world all the great lessons.
And as we saw last year, Maharaj, going to Kumbh Mela, where between 80 and 100 million people attended. And they're attending basically what's essentially a spiritual gathering. It wasn't rock and roll music, it wasn't sport.
Yeah.
It was all to do with karma, birth and death. All to do with getting spiritual gain by going there. Where else in the world will you find 1 in 10 practically of the population going to a festival?
Yes. And in very severe conditions.
It was.
Running winter time in the cold Ganges and feeling that they achieve liberation.
Really, very austere. Looking like the sun is shining and very pleasant, and tents camping out, it was cold. Cold, windy, and very simple accommodation and covering for the body itself.
But you spent like almost 32 years, your best years in India. Are you like lamenting about missing West or missing your family, missing your friends?
Maharaj, never, but also it wasn't India. Like so many people, one thing I've seen coming from India, they're coming and visiting devotees where they live, where they do service. I came to Guru Maharaj 32 years before, and basically by his grace I've been in service to Guru Maharaj and Govinda Maharaj throughout all of this time. But it happens that I was in India, but we see here the devotees, they've been serving here for so many years, but they are doing the same. They are engaged in the service of Gurudev. So I was 32 years in the East, and for 4.5 of those years, I was in Malaysia. Guru Maharaj sent me to Malaysia. There we were doing book distribution and preaching. But wherever we are, it's not the place. If Srila Shri Maharaj or Srila Govinda Maharaj had been somewhere else, we would have gone somewhere else. So it wasn't the place, it was the persons. And in their association, we would never lament anything at all for wishing to be anywhere else.
Well, I mean, you know, some people are really lamenting about old good days, but I really feel that new good days are coming. What do you feel?
Maharaj, every day is a good day. A good day is when we will get association of the devotees. We can start the program like we start this morning, with a morning program, with something along the lines of how Guru Maharaj established the mat, and then reading as we do each day of Chaitanya Charitamrita with the devotees, sharing these stories. This is a good day. So, Maharaj, we have to keep alive their teaching and their message, because they're not history. And Srila Gurudev, he made Bhaktivinoda Thakur feel so much as a present living, somebody living in the present. Guru Maharaj, even though by the time Gurudev passed away, he passed away 22 years before that. He passed away in 1988. But still, it was very much as though Guru Maharaj was just living nearby, but we can't see him directly. And what to speak of that when he talked about Mahaprabhu, about Nityananda, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. Always it was very alive and living. So we need to remember his example and feel the presence of these wonderful personalities day by day. So every day we want to try more. When we are students, we're practitioners. We are trying to make ourselves remember them. Think of not just remember them as a picture, but remember them, their personality, nature, instructions, what makes them happy. And I think that the world is huge, and our devotees, percentage-wise, is a little drop, one little drop somewhere. So here we were in Vila Govinda with the devotees. I tried to let them see how fortunate it is you've come into this line and conception, and how we can try to introduce that, put some signboard, some way marker for everybody to see, wow, such things do exist, such connection does exist. But Maharaj, we all have to go on. It is the nature of the world.
Cool, Maharaj. Really amazing. I think it's the time for prasadam, because the sun is coming up.
The sun is coming up,
and we're sitting
the
in
sun is
yogi.
Going down.
we're sitting in the yogis pastures, and near Milan in the mountains.
Everything else is sitting on muddy ground, and so we stand instead
it's
on
time for us to go and move. So
ground.
let's go.
Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Shri Bhakti Rock Shri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And all glories to all the devotees in so many corners of the world who are going on in their devotional life. All the worldwide Vaishnavas do that.
That was little forest river talk in Italy with Madhusudan Maharaj. He's going today to Brazil, and we had wonderful time with him and Italian devotees. And we hope, by grace of Gurudev, we're coming back one day and continue our great Italian preaching, which is always a source of inspiration for all of us. Dandavats. Dandavats.